of communication, the usual channels of communication. There's a lot of discussions that go outside the plenary sessions by the leaders of the House to try and always build consensus. And so sometimes, as speakers, we are put on the spot when you are presiding, because there's some language that are used that you may not even want it to be on record. And you have to work on it. And you have to work on it with the leaders. And so at the end of the day, what you record is not the Hansard. It's what is approved by the House. That is the Hansard. You may disagree with it, but that is not your document. It's the document of the House. Don't also forget of permissive biases or prejudice. I'm speaking to all of you. If I tell each and every one of you now to repeat what I've said, you repeat it in different ways, influenced by our own perceptions, understanding, norms, and culture, everything, tradition, everything affects what we hear and understand. And so it's important we go by the law. And this was one of the areas that I disagree with the Minority Leader when he had a case against the Speaker of Parliament in the Supreme Court. That reference they were using was not an approved version of the House. But that was definitely a document from one of you in the House. The courts will not know that. They will not know. And so the work you do is so essential to life, not just democracy, because people depend wholly on it to take decisions. And it's so, so important for you to go through all this, particularly in today's challenging times. Today's challenging times. And that is why the theme of your conference is so essential. Charting the future of Parliament, charting the future of Hansard, embracing innovation and technology for enhanced parliamentary reporting in Africa is very, very important. So today, we are at a very, very crucial period in the evolution of parliamentary reporting. And my colleagues have drawn your attention to all that, including the opportunities and the threats. This is not just a technological world. We are dealing with now high technology, not just technology, very high technology. Every day you read a lot of material. The percentage that is fake news or disinformation or misinformation is so great with what is happening. Not just AI, but you know all the software that has been developed. The program we are putting in place, and we've given those directives. The clerk is here. That on trips, on capacity building, whatever we do, you should be involved. We want our local languages to be part of Hansard reporting. Please just look at the countries that have advanced. How many of those countries have developed using foreign languages? None. Because communication, what you tell people, to let them take decisions. And so all the countries that have developed their own languages, and they are using that in teaching, in everything. And that is what accelerates the developments in those countries. We are compelled, because of the accident of history, to be using a foreign language we always refer to as the official language. We are all speaking English here. And I'm not sure that we understand each other when we even speak the English. Well, my pronunciation is very different from your chair when he stood here with his very calm voice and spoke a type of English which is different from my English. But we come from the same source, and we're ruled by the same people. So are the other countries anyway. That is why Britain was called Great Britain. I don't know about today, whether it's still great or not. Again, across Africa, democratic institutions are growing stronger despite the occasional setbacks. Our citizens are demanding greater transparency, accountability, and responsiveness from Parliament. It's not just from members of Parliament, but from Parliament itself. The weakness of democracy in Africa is a reflection of the weakness of the institutions of Parliament in Africa. The parliamentarians are the people they elect. So the people put in you, they trust. For 4 years or 5 years, please, I'm depending on you to improve my livelihood. How you communicate to them is very important. But they are not looking at the individual, because you know the individual can just do a little. They are looking at the state institutions. And the institution that moves things in every democracy is the institution of Parliament. Unfortunately, we've been along the wrong path. And so many Africans are still caught up and looking up to the executive. But it's what we decide that they implement. They execute what we decide. That is why the term honorable, was bestowed on the members of Parliament. These days, any appointee is called honorable. I don't know who gave them that honor. The appointing authorities? No. It's when the people elect you, they honor you, they assess you, and they think that you are worthy of their trust. They repose that in you, and they give you a code that today, this is how you have to behave in order to serve us efficiently and effectively. So your work in plenary and all level, not only conferences, but even committees and the rest. And that is why the new organogram of Parliament has split you into some units. I know as of now, there are still some challenges. We have to fine-tune it. But it's important that you have the legislation office, which you have now. And it's important that we have the reporters, the official, and all those things. And we also upgraded your intake, the qualifications, eligibility to becoming a reporter in Parliament. Not as before. I've been in Parliament all these 33 years. I have not measured up to the longest serving member of Parliament in the world. Who is that? Who knows the longest serving member of Parliament? Winston Churchill. He was over 50 years in the House of Commons. So I've not reached. I don't intend to go there. But what he gathered during that period, if you go to UK and you ask who is the best MP or the best Prime Minister in the UK, they will always refer to Winston Churchill. You know, and he was just a product of the wars that we fought some years ago. So things evolve at a rate that we are all now struggling to cope up with. And that is why, please, the other departments, I wish they were here to listen to the value addition that you give to Parliament. And so when we are talking about budgeting, they should listen properly and make sure we have sufficient resources to invest in the official reporting department. I hope the finance and accounts departments are here. But we went far ahead to also ensure that we have a budget committee. And that budget committee, we made it clear that even before the budget is brought, rather from the preparatory stage of the budget, they should be involved so that together we can set the priorities for the country. If the people elect you to come and represent them, and somebody is setting priorities for you, how can you represent the people well? How can you be responsive to their needs and aspirations? And that is why we set up those committees to start with the executive arm at the preparatory stage. At the end of the day, we are the people who, again, legislate for the people to be taxed. All laws passed are by Parliament. And if you don't pass a law, nobody can tax any person. And so it's another additional responsibility for us to be involved in to make sure that we get things right, we prioritize our departments, we make sure that the critical departments and units are given the proper attention. And so these things were not done in a vacuum. Sometimes I hear whisper from members or staff of Parliament that, oh, this thing is created because Right Honorable Bagbin is Speaker. After him, oh, it will not exist again. I hear it from you. Yes, from staff. And if you consult me, I can tell you the names. But these are all done in ignorance. Because I'm not doing it for my benefit. I'm just to serve for a few benefits. I'm just to serve for a few, at least, something would have stuck to me. And I'm happy you are here, particularly at this age. We call it the digital age, to try to exchange experiences, learn from each other, and make sure that we build the global governance together. Now, global governance itself is under serious threat. And I like the partnership you are building, so that together, not only in Africa, not only in the Commonwealth, but at the World Parliament, we can have a very well-structured system of reporting. If not, the citizens' media will completely outshine the work you do. I tried to write a biography of myself, and I decided to the Hansard from 1993. Please take a copy of the 1993 Hansard, and then take one of the copies you have today, read and see the differences. There, clearly, you see the need for technology. So, what you are discussing about the future of Hansard reporting is so essential that we want to have your final documents